It's taken me 8 years to build my yoga business from zero to financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. But looking back, there are a few things I wish I'd known sooner, the kinds of things that could have saved me time and money. So in this video, we're going to look into them. Now, I started my business when I was 22. And at that time, I didn't take myself very seriously. I didn't see myself as a business owner. I saw myself as a brand new yoga teacher who lacked a ton of confidence. This is the first lesson I wish I'd learned sooner, was to see myself as a business person as well as a yoga teacher. Because you need to be both to survive. And I don't say that because anyone's coming to get you. I mean, to make a sustainable living. If that's your baseline goal, it's really hard as a yoga teacher, so you have to take the business side of things seriously. Now, I remember watching a clip recently from Jason Cantrell, who's been teaching for many more years than I have, and he was talking about all the times he's pivoted just to keep his career going. And that is the reality of having a sustainable living if you're a yoga teacher. You know, it can be incredibly challenging. But this is why we need to talk about one of the things that I think makes yoga teachers adept at business, which is our mindset. Because on the mat, we're taught to manage emotions, expectations, judgments, and doubt. We learn to modify, adjust, and grow through challenges. And business is exactly the same. The same way a difficult pose will reflect your internal state, the way you operate your business will reflect so much about you too. It will show you your need to control, to make everything perfect, to people please, to play it safe. There is an endless list of things you will learn about yourself through your business. But if you can apply the same level of awareness and compassion that you do in your yoga practice to how you operate your business, you can grow through the hard times and you can pivot when you need to. Now, I remember when COVID hit, and my in-person teaching business that was doing pretty well at the time completely shut down. This was the first time in my career I really had to pivot, because back then I had no online offers, no YouTube income, nothing. And I remember feeling like I'd missed the boat when I sat there watching all of these other teachers skyrocket their careers because they had the right skill set. While I had never really picked up a camera at that time, and I couldn't even figure out manual focus. Now, bring this up because although it was difficult, I remember recalling all of the times in my yoga practice where I'd felt behind and how I'd overcome those feelings. And I applied the same thinking to that situation and learned to always keep my eyes open to change and to never assume that something is assured. Because at that time, I felt like my in-person business was secure, but I later realized how fragile that business model was. That's why I went on to spend the entirety of lockdown teaching myself about investing, online offers, and deciding what the best use of my time was so that I never ended up in that situation again. Now, at the end of that lockdown, I launched my first program. And I remember going for a walk with my mom, and my phone kept buzzing with payment notifications, and we couldn't believe it. Imagine getting paid in your spare time. That was the first time I'd ever experienced that. And it was so eye-opening for me. Because back when I was running from studio to studio, I remember getting to a point where I would turn up and I would be so tired that I couldn't wait for the class to end. And I was just losing my love for teaching. Yet, there I was on this walk with my mom, getting paid for teaching something I was passionate about, just in a way that wasn't burning me out. Now, after that experience, when life eventually went back to normal, I didn't go back to teaching at studios. I focused on creating better online programs and growing my YouTube channel. And that started by iterating the program I'd already launched so that I created a newer version of it that was better. This is the version of the handstand program that I still sell today. This leads me into the next lesson, or mindset shift, however you want to reframe it. Because most yoga teachers, and I know because I used to be like you, are stuck thinking about what they can do to generate more income. And the obvious things are to teach more classes, run more workshops, events, or retreats. And while those are genuine ways to boost your revenue, they don't compound. Now, by this I mean, if you teach a class, you get paid for that class. That's it. It doesn't keep paying you after the initial work is done. This is why whenever I work with yoga teachers, the first thing I do is get them to stop playing it safe by doing the familiar things. Because it feels productive to put on another class. But now you've committed to doing that class over and over again just to maintain that income. Whereas if you take the extra time initially to create a body of work that generates an income for you while you aren't there, you never have to put that work in again. Like, it's hard because it's more upfront work, but instead of being paid by the hour, you end up with something that can sustain you long term. And yes, there's other work to do to market those offers, but the difference is one way of thinking keeps you stuck in this cyclical struggle, and the other helps you get out of it. And I'm not going to tell you that you can build this in 90 days. I'm not going to be that person. It's unlikely that you'll have much success if you're trying to grow an audience so that people are aware while building the offers themselves with all of the planning, filming, editing, and admin required in such a short space of time. But here's one thing I actually got right. I built my business in stages. My initial stage was community building, where I'd been posting on Instagram for years, so that when I did launch my first offer at the end of that lockdown, people already knew and trusted me, and I had a really successful launch. Then there was the iteration phase. This is where I made improvements and created new offers. Now I'm in a different phase altogether, where I'm building systems, teams, new programs, and continuing to improve the things I've been doing for years. The way I operate my business today is very methodical and intentional because I learned over the years that you need a long-term game plan where you know where you want to be. You need to visualize the stages required to get there because you can't get to where you want to be by focusing on everything at once. It just becomes chaos. Instead, you have to prioritize based on where you're at now. If you have no audience, start there. If you do, try to figure out what problems you can solve for them. If you have some offer experience, could you iterate that offer or create another offer that runs alongside that? Or is your time better spent on lead generation so that you're driving more people to those offers? Only when you have the previous step in place does it make sense to move on to the next one. Otherwise, you're just bouncing around from this and that constantly, never really getting anywhere. After working with hundreds of yoga teachers, the stage most get stuck at is the beginning, community building. This is why I've created a content system to help you win on social media. It's launching in April. If you want to be the first to know when it does, join the waitlist by clicking the first link in the description.